Okay, very good afternoon, everyone. So we are discussing from yesterday what are the classes that has missed during the UFS time, and we are seeing in that emulsions, the chapter on the emulsions which comes under the course expression. So we have seen until now the emulsion definition, applications, demerits, classification, then formulation, then theories of emulsification, then the instability problems which is in the emulsion. So all these things we have seen. So only one topic which was pending is today is the phase equilibria. So coming to the phase equilibria, please try to understand one thing is that this question has never asked in the uh, any university question papers. As you could see in the last week or the beginning of this week when we are discussing those questions which is given in the old questions, you cannot see a question called phase equilibria. But you can see in the syllabus of the course discussion, the last topic ended with is the phase equilibria, which is related to the emulsions. So two things which I want to say with this is, as it was not given in the previous question, doesn't mean that it were not given the future question papers. Definitely they may give. Maybe since this answer for this question is nowhere in any textbook. You can search in Martin also, you can search. You can search in the CVS Subramanian also. You can search in anywhere. You will not get the answer for this. So why you are not get an answer for this is a latest topic. You can see in institutes also, many people are doing PhD on this topic called phase equilibria. I'll tell you what is that exactly. The phase equilibrium I'm going to see in detail. So many people are doing even PhD in the phase equilibrium means you think how much importance is that with respect to emulsions is concerned. Okay, that is one. Since whatever the slides which I'm showing already I have downloaded, already I have uploaded in the JSS online website. You can even, if you want, you can able to download from there and you can read the same thing for your understanding, because this part is not available in the textbook. Whatever the textbook it is, this phase equilibrium is never available. And since how I have prepared is, since as I said, this topic was the interest for the many PhDs which is working in the pharmaceutics. Since few of the people working in the pharmaceutics in the phase equilibria PhD, even my BPharm project, MPharm project in the phase equilibria, I have taken some data, which very few data, which is sufficient for a 5 marks question, and I am presented to you on this today, right? So with this brief introduction, let us go on to the topic, the phase equilibria, which is comes under the section of emulsions under coarse dispersions, and that is the final topic in the emulsion chapter. Okay. So before going to the phase equilibria, let us understand first why this concept of phase equilibria has came to the picture. So what is the application? So from where it has started? Let us say, since we are talking about emulsions, the components of emulsion is an oil, water, surfactant. These are the three components of an emulsion. So there are two ways to represent anything. One is a graphical method, another one is a equation method. Now let us say somebody asked you, I have an emulsion in my hand, so which having some oil, some water, and surfactant. Can you able to represent in a graph to show their concentrations? So I'll tell you what exactly they're asking. Let us say I have two factors, two components called X and Y, right? So somebody asked me, can you represent the relation between these two in a graph? Means what I will do is, I will plot a graph, the X here and the Y here. So the relation is Y is equal to mx plus c. Okay. So m is the slope or c is the intercept, whatever it is. Just basically this equation says that the concentration depends, the y, the response depends upon the concentration. So this value highly depends upon the range of the x. That is the relation. So let us say this I want to plot for this emulsion system. So similarly, I take a graph. I'll take oil on x-axis, the water on x-axis. But now the problem is, where is surfactant I can able to plot? where exactly I can plot the surfactant. So a three-dimensional graph, but three-dimensional graph, I could not able to represent the surfactant exactly, because the purpose of three-dimensional graph is completely different. Now here is the question is how I can able to represent the composition. Somebody asked from this graph, can I able, let us say oil I used as 40%, water I used as 50%, and surfactant I have used as 10%, total 100%, right? Is any possibility that I can able to represent this in a graph? It's called as phase equilibria, and I'll tell you why to represent it. There is a meaning for this. So now you see the concept of phase equilibria, this diagram. See this diagram alone, it will take 10 to 15 minutes. Observe carefully. You have to understand this for the higher education when you go. It is very useful. So I could see here, there are three corners of a triangle. I can able to represent the three-phase system like this, phase equilibrium, the three phases at equilibrium. Okay, the phase is nothing but the oil, the water, or else the surfactant. Okay, so I can represent in the three corners of a triangle. In this corner, I can see, you can see the surfactant concentration. In this corner, the water concentration. In this corner, the oil concentration. Okay, so similarly, like graph, you are saying the x-axis, the concentration of oil, when it goes from here to here, it is going to be increases. Similarly, the water from 0 to higher, when it goes here, it is going to be increases from lower to higher. Similarly, here what happens is these corner points are called as highly concentrated points. These corner points are called as highly concentrated points. What is the meaning of highly concentrated points? If somebody put a cursor here, any corner, it indicates that is the highest concentration of that component. Let us say if I put a cursor here, I can say somebody that water is having highly concentrated here, but when it keep on passes to the center, the concentration is going to be come down. Similarly, surfactant is at higher concentration here. When I keep on come out from the center to the the corner to the center, the surfactant concentration keep reduced. Similarly, oil concentration is highest here. When I keep on comes to the center, its concentration is going to be reduced. So what it says, what is the necessity of doing this is, if let us say an oil and water has been formed, oil and water emulsion has been prepared, you can say when an oil and water emulsion has been prepared, one can show that formation on the left side of the graph. So why the reason is, water concentration in this half is more. Let us divide exactly this into, you just divide exactly this graph into half. Okay, this side water concentration is higher, this side oil concentration is higher. When you're saying water concentration here, what of emulsion can be represented this side is oil and water. In oil and water emulsion, water is at higher concentration, whereas oil is at less concentration. If somebody says the graph is representing this side after the results, what is that results and what is that graph representation, I'll tell you in the next slides. So when somebody projects the graph is only representing on this side, you can say the formed emulsion is nothing but water and oil, because this side oil concentration is more. See, for the better explanation, you just see this. A is a surfactant, right? When I'm moving from this side to down, you can see the value is reducing. 80, 60, 40, 20. That means at this end almost it is 0. Similarly, B, that is nothing but oil. You can see here at this corner it is 80, and when I keep on goes to other side it is 0. Similarly, the water, here it is 80. When I keep on goes to this side, it is almost 0. So let us say if a oil and water emulsion has been formed, I can represent in such a way that this C, water concentration is more. Out of 100%, 50% is water, just 10% is oil. B stands for oil, and 40% is the surfactant. So like that, if you move the cursor anywhere in this triangle, and if you put the cursor, it will show the percentages, the composition of this emulsion. So one can able to find out what is the percentage it has been formed and what kind of emulsion it is. So how it is possible? Yes, it is possible through the software called SMIX. There is a software. See, these all the graphs I'm just showing as theoretically, but we cannot do that. We have to perform some experiments. If you give the data to the software, you can get different graphs like this. You can see all these things. That means I have performed an experiment and now I'm asking software what kind of emulsion it is, and in that what is oil concentration, water concentration. So it will give some region like this. And based upon this region, you can see this is left side formed. So I can predict is an oil and water kind of emulsion from the software basis. And all these graphs are forming on the right side like this. This and all the graphs I have taken from the software with some theoretical practical example. This is a practical done. And this I can estimate as these are a water and oil kind of emulsion. Now, once again, what is the oil and what is the water that has been there inside that emulsion? Through again the calculation which is giving in by the software, I can able to predict the percentage of oil, the percentage of water, or whatever it is. So what is application? Just now we are talking about. So we have seen the theory. What are the use of this triangle graph? What is the left side? What is the right side shows? What all the things? Now, what is application is because based upon these globular structures, there are different forms are available. We'll see what is that forms. So if only surfactants are there, they'll form micelles like lamellar structures. So at this point where surfactant is higher, critical micellar concentration is more, they can form a lamellar-like structures. As I said before graph, this region where water is more, it will form oil and water kind of micro droplets. On the other hand, they will form water and kind of micro emulsion droplets this side. Okay. And if you are adding only the surfactants in this region, what happens is, this region is basically hydrophilic. So in a beaker, the hydrophilic heads will be facing outer side because it is water, and the lipophilic tails will be facing inside. On the other hand, this region is full of oil. You can see the same surfactants if we add, it will form a reverse micelles. That means that the lipophilic tail is outside, the water content is inside. So somebody can predict from the graph after the results I got from the software. So I can come to understand, okay, I have got an oil and water kind of emulsion. I have got a water and oil and water kind of emulsion. Okay, maybe now whatever formed is in micelle, this is a reverse micelle, this is a normal micelle. So based upon just predicting the region, like these regions, just now I'm showing the regions to you, these kind of regions which I can see here, these black colored regions. Based upon this, one can able to predict what happened to the experiment, what kind of formulations that has been prepared. So that is the main advantage of having this phase equilibria. So instead of writing all those things, you would just plot this graph followed by a small write-up which was given here. You can write it. So what the write-up is nothing but once again they have described about the graph. So the composition of surfactant, oil, water at different regions are represented in this diagram. Each corner point indicates higher concentrations. So yes, oil and water. So each corner represent the highest concentrations. That means this is a higher concentration. This is a higher concentration. This is a higher concentration of each respective things. And at this point, all are in equal concentration. All the components are in the equal concentration. So that is this point says about. Each corner represent a higher concentration of the surfactant, water and oil, and the center points represent the equal concentration. Usually that will never exist. The bottom region of the phase diagram represents the conventional emulsion. Yes. So what is the meaning of conventional emulsion is the Walden emulsions, the regularly used emulsions where the surfactant concentration is very minimum. The bottom part of this graph, this is the bottom part. This is conventional emulsion. So try to understand what is the conventional emulsions is. Oil and water and oil which you're discussing. What is the new emulsions is fine emulsions. These days I said the emulsion globules are further reduced. So how they can do it is you can add more and more surfactant. Because when this graph, when we are moving from top to bottom, the surfactant concentration is reducing. That means at this structure, the surfactant is very less. When the surfactant is very less, the oil globule is very more. That means interfacial tension that cannot able to reduce that much, right? So at this point, you can prepare conventional emulsion with the Bregger globules, but you want to reduce still the globule size as much small possible. Your graph should be this side. That means at this kind of points, your emulsion is there, fine emulsion or micro emulsion. So that is the difference. See, please try to understand it's a matter of 3 points. One is oil, water, and surfactant. And this graph represents 3 corners of the point. So whichever the place you are putting the region, it will show us what kind of emulsion is prepared. And the current point says the bottom of the graph usually this point, the bottom of the graph usually represents the conventional emulsion, because if you consider from here to here, if you come, usually the surfactant concentration is low and the surfactant concentration is low, you will get conventional emulsion, nothing but Bregger oil globules. And if you move towards this, usually you will get the nice emulsions or the clear emulsions, also called as nano emulsions or fine emulsions. Okay. So as we move upside, an ideal emulsifying region is observed. That's what if you move up at particular point, an ideal concentration of surfactant, water, and oil is observed, because if the surfactant is very low, this you will not get a stable emulsion. It will into whatever the instability problems you discussed. So it requires some good concentration, at least not less than 20% of surfactant people will usually use to prepare an emulsion. So the areas of the regions of various places represent the diagram of various surfactant, water, and oil used. The area towards the left side in the phase diagram, that is towards the oil region, represent an oil inverter emulsion, and towards the water represents an oil emulsion, vice versa. So this is a complete write-up regarding this. And they have one more topic which was given in the syllabus is rheological properties of emulsion. Is nothing but once again whatever the factors which we have discussed for improving the stability of the emulsions is given here. You could see once again yesterday what I discussed, like particle size distribution, viscosity, phase volume ratio. We can able to improve that. Improve the rheological properties means the flow properties. So it may be highly viscous, it may be less viscous, because the factors nothing but the globule size, the viscosity of the external media, this all influence the rheological means the flow properties of the emulsion. So they have used in different terminology, but all together it's same. You can write the factors whatever which we have discussed before under this. Before that writing, you have to write a simple write up about what is the meaning of rheological properties. So they have said what is emulsion undergoes a shear stress. That means when let us say in this container an emulsion has been filled, when you press, what happens, it will undergo some shear stress, means you are giving some pressure, so that is coming out. So this coming out and this pressure all depend upon the flow properties, the rheological behavior of the emulsions. And again, this rheological behavior of the emulsions depends upon the particle size, that is nothing but globule size, distribution, viscosity of the medium, whatever is there, they have been discussed here. So with this, now the topic has been. Hope you understand these emulsions. If you say compared to the suspensions, the emulsions are more easy than understanding a suspension chapter. So if you have any doubts further, I have another few minutes of time. You can able to ask me. I'm very happy to clear that.